He arrived without sound, like a leaf falling in slow motion, though he had crossed a distance no human number could measure. His ship was not a metal machine, but something that looked closer to a living shell, smooth and quiet, hiding itself between trees at the edge of a quiet suburban park. The visitor from the Three-Eye Atlas stepped out, and the first thing he noticed was not the sky or the earth, but the feeling of gravity pulling him differently, heavier, as if this world wanted to hold him close before testing him. He had prepared for this. New atmosphere, new gravity, new light. He had not prepared for the noise. Earth was loud, even in that calm park. There were birds singing like they owned the sky, leaves shaking with wind, insects buzzing like tiny machines, children laughing in the distance, and somewhere far away, a dog barking as if announcing his arrival to the whole planet. On the Three-Eye Atlas, sound had purpose. Voices were measured, steps were soft. Machines worked without complaint. Here, life hummed and shouted just because it existed. He walked slowly, adjusting. His suit shifted color to match the ground, blending in with the green and brown tones of the grass. Trees moved above him, branches waving like arms in greeting or warning. He did not know yet. His mission was simple: observe, learn, do not interfere. But his thoughts were not simple. For the first time since leaving the ship, he felt something like pressure inside his chest. Not pain, but weight. His people did not like weight inside the heart. Weight meant feelings, and feelings meant trouble. He tried to ignore it and kept walking. The air tasted heavy with soil and sunlight. A warm breeze brushed his face, and he paused to feel it longer. On his world, wind was colder, thinner, carrying the smell of metal and quiet oceans. Here, the wind smelled like life, warm, unpredictable, and almost sweet. He sat on a bench, trying to mimic the relaxed position humans took when resting. It felt strange. He did not know yet how to relax. His body was built for balance and precision, not comfort. People walked by without noticing him, distracted by their own thoughts and glowing handheld screens. A mother passed, pushing a stroller. A jogger ran past with music filling her ears. A boy chased a dog across the grass. Life here moved fast, without fear of being seen. On the Atlas, movement was controlled, intentional. Here, movement was freedom. He studied faces, footsteps, the way humans touched things without hesitation. Tree bark, water fountains, each other's hands. Touch was rare among his kind. They believed thoughts were cleaner than hands. But here, everything was physical, real, warm. A group of children ran near him, throwing a ball between them. One tripped, laughed, stood up again. No one stopped to help, because the child did not need help. On the Atlas, there were no accidents. There were no falls. Everything was planned. He watched the child rub dirt off his knee and keep running. Dirt. Injury. Imperfection. And yet, the child smiled. This confused him. Why smile at pain? Why celebrate falling? His body reacted with a small shiver. Confusion was new. He did not like not knowing. He looked at the sky. Earth's sun felt different, warm but bold, almost proud. It stood in the center of everything, calling attention with its bright voice. On the Atlas, light was soft, shared, never demanding. Earth's light felt alive, like everything else here. He closed his eyes for a moment, letting the wind touch him. He wanted to believe he was ready for this world. He had trained for years, or what humans would call years. Learning languages, studying Earth history, understanding cultures. But studying was different from feeling. And here, feelings were everywhere. When he opened his eyes, a small toy ball rolled toward his feet. He stared at it, unsure what to do. On the Atlas, objects did not move unless commanded. Here, objects had their own ideas. He hesitated, then picked it up. It was soft, warm from the sun, and somehow comforting in its simplicity. A child was running toward him now. Small, maybe 6 or 7 years old, with hair sticking up like she had outrun the wind. She slowed when she saw him, her curious eyes wide, not scared at all. She tilted her head, examining him the same way he had examined birds and trees. No fear, only wonder. And then she smiled. A simple human smile, bright and innocent, like morning light breaking clouds. In that moment, he felt the pressure in his chest again, heavier now, warm and confusing. He did not know that feeling had a name yet. He did not know it was the beginning of change. He only knew that this world, loud and imperfect and full of life, was not a place to observe quietly. It was a place that touched back, and the smallest voice on the planet, a child running toward him, was about to change everything he thought he understood. He held the ball out to her with a slow, unsure motion. She giggled, because he looked too serious for someone holding a toy. And without knowing it, without planning it, without permission from any rule he had ever been taught, he smiled back. That smile was the first mistake, or the first miracle. He did not know yet. He only felt the world shift, soft and gentle, like the wind had decided to carry his heart with it. The mission had begun, but not the mission he trained for. The mission life chose for him. He did not expect her to speak. Children on the 3-Eye Atlas were taught silence first, language second. But this human child stood in front of him with dirt on her knees, hair messy from running, cheeks pink from the sun, and she opened her mouth without hesitation, as if talking to a stranger from another planet was the most natural thing in the universe. "You came from far away, didn't you?" she said, her voice light and curious, carrying no fear, no suspicion. He froze. For a moment, the world around him seemed to pause. The wind, the distant birds, even the laughter from other children. Her words traveled into him like a direct signal, unexpected and too precise. He stared at her, unable to answer. She spoke again, slower this time, like she wanted to make sure he understood. "It's okay," she added, stepping a little closer, tiny shoes crushing fallen leaves. "Sometimes I feel far from home, too." That sentence did something inside him. It didn't hurt, but it felt close to pain. A tight warmth in the center of his chest, like something waking up that had been asleep for a very long time. He tried to respond the way he had practiced. Simple words, calm tone. "I traveled," he managed. "Very far." Her eyes widened in satisfaction, as if she had solved a puzzle. "I knew it," she said proudly. "You don't sit like people from here, and your eyes look like you're always listening." No human adult had noticed anything unusual about him so far, but this small child, barely taller than his shoulder when he sat, saw him clearly. Not what he looked like, but what he felt like. Different, searching, alone. She pointed to the sky with the same confidence older people reserved for maps and facts. "You came from up there?" He followed her finger. "Blue sky, clouds, light so bright it almost hurt his eyes." "Yes," he whispered before he could stop himself. She nodded, not shocked, not frightened, just completely satisfied. "I knew it," she repeated, like she had been waiting her whole life to meet someone from the stars. Then she sat on the bench beside him, swinging her legs like the earth had no weight on her at all. He watched her, uncertain what to do. On the Atlas, sitting beside someone was a choice reserved for deep trust or duty. Here it seemed to be an invitation without rules. "Are you tired?" she asked suddenly, tilting her head. "You look tired," he blinked. Tired was a physical state, a word she used simply, but it felt deeper when she said it. Yes, he was tired. Not in his body, but in the part of him that had been holding silence for so long. He didn't understand why she saw it, or how. "Why did you come alone?" she asked softly. The question hit him harder than the wind. He had not meant to come alone. He had not meant to break away from his team. But something in the journey here, the pull of Earth's sky, the chaos of landing, the strange call of life below, had brought him alone. "It was not the plan," he said quietly. "Plans break," she replied with a shrug, saying it like it was a universal rule. He looked at her, surprised by how much truth hid in those small words. Plans break, rules crack, hearts open. He didn't say anything else, but she didn't need words to stay. She simply sat beside him, small feet swinging, breathing softly as the wind brushed through the trees. After a moment, she smiled again. "I'm glad you're here. No fear, no doubt. Just kindness. The kind that didn't ask who he was, why he came, or whether he deserved a place to sit on this new world." And for the first time since he landed, he felt something settle inside him, not heavy this time, but warm, like a light switched on, like gravity had changed meaning. Not something that pulled him down, but something that held him steady. He could not tell if this child understood what she had just done. But those simple words had opened a door inside him. A door no mission, no training, no rule had warned him about. Because nothing in all his preparation had ever taught him the one truth she already knew. Sometimes the smallest voice in the universe speaks the largest truth. And sometimes it only takes a child to make someone from the stars feel like they've finally arrived. The third day came with sunlight softer than usual, as if the sky itself was trying to speak gently. He sat on the same park bench, not because it was part of his mission, but because something inside him told him to return. The child arrived soon after, almost as if she had felt the same pull. She walked toward him with steady steps, carrying a small paper bag crinkled in her hands. When she reached him, she held it out proudly. "I brought snacks," she said. "Visitors get hungry too, right?" He did not need food the same way humans did. His body absorbed energy differently, quietly, without hunger or taste. But he took the bag anyway, holding it with both hands as if it were something fragile and sacred. Inside was a sandwich, a piece of fruit, and a small cookie shaped like a star. The star made him pause. Humans shaped food into symbols for fun, not survival. They played with meaning. They ate memories as much as bread. "Thank you," he said, not just repeating but feeling the words this time. She sat beside him, swinging, her feet again like the earth was her playground, and time wasn't real. For a long moment, neither of them spoke. That silence felt different from the silence of space. Space silence was cold, heavy, endless. Human silence was warm. It waited for words instead of drowning them. "Do you miss home?" she asked suddenly. He looked up at the trees, then at the sky that hid stars in daylight. "I don't know," he said. "Where I am from, we don't feel missing." "Everyone misses something," she replied with the certainty of someone who hasn't learned to doubt yet. "Sometimes I miss my mom when she goes to work, even if she comes back." He turned slowly toward her. Her words settled inside him, like grains of light falling into a place he didn't know existed. "We don't have that. Missing." She studied him a moment, eyes narrowed in thought. "Maybe you didn't need it there." That idea surprised him. He expected humans to believe their feelings were universal, necessary. But she accepted the difference without fear, without judgment. "But you're here now," she added, tapping her chest gently. "Earth feelings work here." Earth feelings. The phrase was simple, yet powerful. He felt something stir, the same warm pull he had felt when she first smiled at him. He did not know how to name it. Need? Belonging? Curiosity that reached beyond logic? He looked at the cookie again. A tiny star held in his palm. The child pointed to it. "Do you have stars like that where you live?" "Many," he said. "More than you could count." "Do you ever fall from them?" He blinked, confused. "Fall?" She nodded. "Like shooting stars. People make wishes when they fall." Wishes. Another human concept. On his world, outcomes were shaped by planning and discipline. not hope tied to light in the sky. "Why make wishes?" he asked. She shrugged. "Sometimes people hope so hard that it has to go somewhere." He thought about that. Hope traveling through the universe like tiny invisible threads, landing wherever a heart might listen. "Did you make a wish when I came?" he asked without meaning to. The question surprised him. She didn't answer right away. Instead, she looked at the playground ahead. Swings, a slide, a spinning wheel squeaking gently. Then she looked back at him, her voice quiet but sure. "I wished someone would sit with me." He felt it again, that warmth, that tug in his chest that no training had ever warned him about. This was not data, not observation. This was connection. Real, simple, powerful. He had crossed galaxies, trained for cycles, learned languages and systems. Yet nothing in his life had prepared him for the power of a child saying she simply didn't want to be alone. He set the star-shaped cookie gently on the bench between them, like an offering. "Maybe I am here because you wished," he said. It was not logical. It did not fit any scientific framework. But in that moment, it felt true. Her smile widened. "I think the universe listens to kids more than adults." He did not know if the universe listened. But right then, listening to her felt like the closest thing to truth he had ever known. He looked at her, and in the quiet morning light, something inside him shifted once more. Understanding bloomed slowly, like a first sunrise. He came to Earth to observe. But sitting on that old bench beside a child with messy hair and star-shaped cookies, he realized he was not here just to watch. He was here to feel. And feelings, once awakened, did not go back to sleep. The day he had to leave did not look like a day of endings. The sky was clear, soft blue, with clouds shaped like quiet dreams drifting slowly above the trees. Children played as if time had no weight. Parents talked. Wind moved gently through the park grass. Nothing around him said goodbye, but he felt it. A subtle vibration deep in his suit, a signal only he could sense. A calling from somewhere far beyond Earth's sky. The kind of call no one from his world could ignore. He sat on the same park bench, the place where everything had begun to change inside him. He waited, not because he needed more time, but because he hoped time might slow if he sat still enough. Then she came running, her small shoes tapping lightly against the ground. As always, she slowed down when she reached him, breathing hard but smiling as if she carried sunlight inside her chest. "I brought you something," she said, proud as always. She held out a folded piece of paper. He opened it carefully. Drawings made with crayons, a bright yellow circle for a sun, a green patch for grass, two figures sitting side by side on a bench, one tall and gray, the other small and smiling. Above them, scribbled stars and the words, written unevenly, "Friends sit together." His chest tightened, warm and uncomfortable, and beautiful all at once. "It is very good," he said softly. "It is important," she giggled. "It's just a drawing." He shook his head. "It is more." She looked at him for a moment, curious, like she always did. "Are you sad today?" He did not want to lie. "Yes." "Why?" He searched for a word humans used, one she would understand. "I have to go far again." The smile on her face dimmed, like a light turned down just a little. "Far, like—" "Really far?" "Farther than anyone here can walk," he said gently. She kicked a small pebble near her shoe, thinking. "But you'll come back, right?" His breath caught. On the 3-Eye Atlas, promises had weight. They were only made when certain. He wished he could promise. He wished he could give her everything she gave him. Trust, innocence, the simple magic of believing connection didn't need permission. "I don't know," he finally whispered. Her small eyebrows lowered, confused, a little hurt. She didn't cry. She didn't ask him not to go. She just stood in front of him, incredibly brave for someone so small. "I don't want you to leave," she said quietly. He felt the signal again in his chest, stronger now. A reminder that his world was coming for him, that time here had run out. He knelt so his face met hers at eye level. For the first time, he reached out and touched her shoulder. Gentle and careful, as if human kindness might break if held too firmly. "I did not know the meaning of feeling missing," he said. "Now I do." She blinked, tears forming but refusing to fall. "Missing just means you liked someone enough to remember them forever." He swallowed the ache rising in him. "Forever is very long." "Good," she said softly. "Then you'll remember longer." He felt the world shift, not the ground, not the sky, but the part inside him he never knew could change. She reached into her pocket, pulled out a tiny plastic star, scratched and cheap, the kind children win at carnivals. "Here," she said, pressing it into his hand. "So you don't forget you saw stars here too." Stars, earth feelings, wishes, warm wind, a child's voice that understood the universe better than any council of scholars. He closed his fingers around the star like it was precious metal. Then the air hummed, not wind, not cars, not life. Something deeper, calling him. She looked up at the sky, then back at him. "Is that them?" He nodded. "Yes." "Okay," she whispered. "Then go. But be fast, so you don't forget too soon." He stood slowly, every movement weighted, every second louder than words. He stepped back once, twice, and she didn't chase him. She just watched, trusting him even while the world was taking him away. Light formed around him, rising like quiet fire, like stardust waking up. Before he vanished, he spoke one last time. "I came to learn. You taught me more than anyone." Her voice shook slightly, but stayed strong. "Come back when you know even more." Then the light took him. No sound, no storm, just absence, the soft kind that hurts quietly. The park returned to normal. Children kept laughing. Wind kept moving. But on the bench sat a small drawing and one single plastic star left in her other hand. The pair to the one she gave him. She pressed it to her chest, eyes shining with stubborn hope. Somewhere beyond sight, far above clouds and far beyond human knowing, a traveler carried a tiny earth star with him, and something in his heart glowed with it. He had left, but not lost. He had gone, but not forgotten. Because once a feeling truly wakes up, no distance in the universe can silence it.